Right, what's going on, guys? Back again with another video. You guys keep asking for the tactics, so I'm going to keep bringing them. The 4-4-2. Now, this is something I've been playing around with off stream, and it's something that I actually think may be the only formation that could potentially contest with the 5-3-2. It's something that has worked really well for me, and I know a lot of you guys love the formation, so I'm sure you guys are glad to hear it. But before we get into the video, if you haven't, drop a like, drop a comment, turn the notification bell on, and drop a sub. We're on the road to 2K. We're about 240 off 2,000 subs, so keep up the grind. And because I've been seeing this, look, there is 86% of people who watch my videos don't sub. So come on, boys, come on, nice me, all right? Be nice to me, please, please, please. Drop us a sub. We're trying to get to 2K, so I'd really, really appreciate it. So yeah, like I said, we're going to be doing 4-2-2 tactics. They should be good. We're going to go from ultra attacking all the way down to ultra defensive. We're going to be telling you guys why I'm using these tactics, why I'm using these instructions, and why I think it will really help you. And if you are watching this bit, the instructions are arguably the most important part, all right? So make sure you watch the full video. And for people who are watching this video, and people always ask me what I start with. Now, usually I talk about it further in the video, but clearly some people just don't watch all of it, which is fine. But I always start off with the defensive one, all right? So defensive is where we always start off. And if you've watched the longer videos, you'll know that. But yeah, so anyone who hasn't, I always start with the defensive one, all right? Right, but let's get into this, because I'm just chatting absolute rubbish. So we're going to start with the ultra attacking and go all the way down. So obviously this tactic is more about if we're trying to win the ball back and trying to score goals. With Chuck defending out the window or a couple goals down, this is the tactic that I'm always going with. Now, like I always say to you guys, the width never changes. Never. It doesn't matter if you're ultra attacking or ultra defensive. Width, in my opinion, you find a width that you're comfortable with, then you don't need to change it. All right? It doesn't make you more attacking or more defensive. So just keep it where you're comfortable, all right? Don't mess around. But people just like to put the dials up and down just so they think it does something, when it can actually make it worse. So like I said, 5 width, and then 7 depth, because like I said, we're just trying to get up the pitch. I think if you go 8 depth, it puts those strikers right on the line of the centre-backs and makes it almost too easy to play through balls. So that's why we're on 7 depth instead of 8. Offensive style is obviously fast build-up. The best way to counter-attack on the game. You can fly up the pitch as soon as you want and just try and score those crucial goals. So the width is on 3. Now, this is part of why this formation can contest with the 5-3-2. And I'll talk more about that in the instructions part, because it'll make a lot more sense. So the players in the box is on 7. Sorry, pardon me. Because we are trying to just create more chances and score more goals. Obviously, we want more people in the box. Corners is on 3. We still want some people back, because obviously we're trying to protect the counter attack. I know we're trying to win, but also there's no point conceding any more goals. And then free kicks is always on 1, because why would you change it? You're just shooting. Now, so the instructions, obviously both strikers on getting behind, stay forward. We're using getting behind to abuse the through balls. We all know how overpowered they are. And then both of them on stay forward, because we just want them as far up the pitch as possible. Now, these instructions will be partly of why, well, not these necessarily, the cams, but I'll talk more about it in a minute. So both of the cams are on stay forward to try and score goals. I'll actually talk about it more on the defensive one, because it doesn't really matter on this. But so both of the cams are on stay forward and get into the box across. Obviously, stay forward is just to try and help score goals, and get into the box across is to abuse the R1X and the R1 square or RBX crosses. And then both from conservative interceptions, because I don't want them to burn out their stamina, and I want them to try and start the pitch and score. Now, I've got one of the CDMs on get forward and cover centre, and then the other one on balanced. Obviously, we're ultra attacking here. We're trying to get up the pitch and score goals, so that's why none of them will stay while attacking. But both of them are on cover centre to cover the centre areas, because we have the wide cams. And then obviously both fullbacks are on balance. I don't put them on overlap, because I don't want only 2 defenders. So that's why I haven't got them on join the attack, but I still have them on balance so they can get forward a little bit. So that's been the ultra attacking one. So like I said, this is the one where I'll only use this as a last resort if I'm really trying to score goals. This is not what I start the game with. Now, we've got attacking. Now, this is if it could still be a draw, or maybe you're 1 goal down and you're just trying to press a bit higher up the pitch, trying to win that ball back because you think it can really help you out. Pardon me, Jesus. Defensive style is on press after possession loss. I do think press after possession loss is actually up there with the most overpowered tactic on this game. It allows you the game to basically win the ball back for you if you lose it. And a lot of the time, with how bad the passing is and the first touches are in this game, you win it back quite a lot. Obviously, there are cons to it because if you don't win the ball back, your players are knackered and they are all out of position. But that's the risk you take when you're trying to win the ball back high up the pitch. Like I said, 5 width, it never changes. There's no need for it to change. So 5 width, 5 depth. It's just obviously we're dropping it down a couple because we're not all out attack, but we are still trying to get higher up that pitch. So that's why we're on 5. Offensive style is on fast build up. Like I said, we're trying to score goals, get up the pitch. Fast build up is a really great way of building up play as quick as you can. It does drag people out of position and it can leave your team in a bit of a mess. But if you're willing to take that risk and you're confident in your defending, this is a great one for you. Now the width again is on 3, just because I want those wide cams tucking in a bit narrower. Like I said, I'll talk about it more on. Actually, I'll talk about it now because it's pretty much the same. The instructions are the same. So yeah, so the width is on 3 because these wide cams, when we're playing the 5-3-2, and this is why I was saying this formation can counter the 5-3-2. It's the 3 wide centre mids. So if you have the offensive width quite low, those wide cams will tuck in a bit. And then if I have that CDM on get forward, it almost works as the flat 3 with a DM in behind it, and then the 2 strikers. So it actually ends up being a bit more defensive than maybe the 5-3-2. So it can work really well if you do it right. The players in the box is on 6. Like I said, just a bit lower from the ultra attacking because we're not chucking all the balls at the wall yet. Do you know what I mean? Corners are on 2. Just like I said, just slightly more defensive because we're trying to be a bit more preservative, and then free kicks are on 1. Now, the instructions. So, both strikers are on getting behind. We have taken off get forward on both because it creates too much weird separation. So that is why they are both on just getting behind to obviously abuse those 3 balls. Both of the wide cams, like we said, we took stay forward off because it just ruins up the balance of the team. But we have got get into the box still on for those R1 square or RBX crosses. And we've still got conservative interceptions on because we don't want to put them putting in too much work and burning through all their stamina. Now we have one of the CDMs on stay back while attacking and cover centre because obviously we want them to be our DM. And then we have our attacking DM, which is the get forward cover centre. Now, like I said, this can end up working where if that centre mid there that you're seeing, he'll push up higher into that middle 3, and then those 2 wider cams will tuck in a bit, and it can either almost ends up working as like a bit more of an aggressive 5-3-2 with a DM. So it can work really well. Obviously, it's not ideal. There are obviously pros and cons, but it has worked really well for me in the past. So we'll see how it goes further on. But this is what I'm doing at the moment. Now, both of the fullbacks are on stay back while attacking because we still want our 4 defenders though, so we don't concede goals. But like I said, the instructions are very, very, very important if you want to try and play it in a way to beat the 5-3-2. Now we have the defensive. Now, like I said, these are the tactics where. This is what I start the game on. This is what I always start the game on because I think it's the most balanced. It gives you a good chance to figure out your opponent and figure out how to get around him and just try not to be sucked into their gameplay. Because I think a lot of people they might start pressing off the start, and if you play against a possession player or someone who just knows how to play against it, it can be really, really unfortunate. So playing a balanced style can end up it's just a lot easier to start the game off with. So that's why I always go with the defensive. Now, obviously, because you heard me say balance so many times, obviously I'm using balanced. So defensive style obviously is balanced because we just want, like I said, we're just trying to figure our opponent out. Width is on 5. Like I said, we don't change it. There's no point. It's whatever you're comfortable with. Obviously, if you want it lower, put it lower. Like, that's fine. I'm using 5 because that's the width I'm comfortable with this formation. But if you want to put it up or down, that's completely up to you. The depth is on 4. We're just being slightly bit more defensive because obviously, like I said, this is the balanced one. Trying to figure out how our opponent plays, if he's an aggressive player, if he's a passive player. So that is why we're on 4 depth. Offensive style is balanced. Obviously, fast build-up is a very crazy one, and I would only ever suggest using that if you are a goal down or if you're really trying to be aggressive. Otherwise, balance is by far the best attacking tactic, unless you're doing the opposite and parking the bus, and I'll go through that on the ultra defensive. Now, like I said, the width is still on 3 because I'm playing this to try and counteract the 5-3-2, so that having that attacking centre mid be a bit more central, CDM, be a bit more central, and those 2 wide cams tuck in a bit more, it can make for a very nice little bit of a nice bit of a counter towards the 5-3-2. Players in the box are still on 6 because I still want that attacking mid pushing into the box, so that's why he's still on 6. Corners are on 2 and free kicks are on 1 because, like I said, we're just trying to be careful with the counter attack. Now, these instructions are basically exactly the same as the last ones. I say this all the time with the attacking and the defensive ones because they're pretty much the same thing, just one's a bit more aggressive and one's a bit more passive. So there's no real need to talk about them. Like, I'll quickly go through them. So they're both on getting behind both of the strikers. Both of the wide cams will get into the box for cross and conservative interceptions. And then one DM on stay back while attacking, other one on get forward. Both are on cover centre. And then both of the wing backs are on stay back while attacking. Now we will quickly go through the ultra defensive one. Now this is one where if you're a couple goals up, trying to hold a lead, this is what you want to be using. It can be really good in terms of just not letting your opponent get anything. So yeah, this is why I'm using this. Obviously, width should be on 5. Don't know why it's dropped, but yeah, width is on 5 because, you know, we don't change it. Like I said, like I keep saying, I'm not even going to repeat it again. Depth is on 2. 2 is the lowest depth I like going to. If you go to 1, usually they sit way too far back. They get way too much space. So that is why we're on 2 instead of 1. Offensive style is long ball. I always go through long ball because it is a really, really overpowered tactic. If you are parking the bus and trying to counteract quickly, as much as I hate even promoting this because I hate playing against it, long ball is such a good way of doing it. Having those high rated attackers on long ball with the high attacking position, they make some really great runs and can give you a lot of goals going forward. Now the width is still on 3 because it is still the best way to score goals and counteract the 5-3-2. Players in the box is on 4. Obviously we just want slightly less people in there as we're trying to be more defensive. And then corners and free kicks are both on 1 because we are just trying to protect the counter attack and not concede any goals. Now, both of the strikers are still on getting behind because we want to try and abuse that long ball tactic, but they are also both on comeback on defence to try and help the defence defend the goal. Both of the cams are on comeback on defence because we just want them to help defend those wide areas, and then we've got both on stay at the edge of the box because we don't want that. And then we have got them on conservative interceptions because I still don't want them burning through all their stamina and screwing us over. Now both of the CDMs are on stay back while attacking this time because we're not trying to score goals. So that is why we're sticking with this. And then we have the 2 DMs. So both are on stay back while attacking and both are on cover centre. And then both fullbacks are on stay back while attacking. But yeah, guys, that has been me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, drop it a like, drop it a comment. Let me know what you thought. Turn the notification bell on. And like I said, 86% of people aren't subscribed. So please drop us over if you haven't. We're on the road to 2K. I really appreciate all the support, boys. We're absolutely killing it right now. And yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace, boys.